Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34. And Nirvana with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds today, a high of 61. Tonight, partly cloudy. There's a possibility of a shower overnight, low of 50, but I'll be sleeping by then, and so should you. And then for tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, clearing in the afternoon, and a high of 75. That's so much better than what it sounds like for tonight. About 44 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. Lots of stuff to give away today. More tickets to see the beautiful losers at 52 Sumner on Saturday. Also Saturday, Provisions Italian Wine Festival is happening in Amherst. We have tickets to that event. And we're going to be talking to John Delaney today. The Ride to Remember pig roast is Sunday with trailer trash. How much fun does that sound like? Eating pigs and listen to trailer trash? That's happening at Vanish Valley on Sunday. We'll give you all the details when John Delaney comes into the studio. There's that and more. It's 5:35 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102 is the expert of all things classic rock.
Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:51 and Def Leppard with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be mostly cloudy today with a high of 71. Tomorrow, clouds with some rain showers, high of 77. It's just looking like a bleak weekend at this point. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Now, Michael Bolton's going through some nasty, nasty stuff. He's got brain cancer treatments have impacted his short-term memory, speech, and mobility. He was diagnosed with an aggressive glioblastoma back in December of 2023 when he had emergency surgery. Michael had a second surgery in January of last year and finished radiation and chemotherapy last October. His latest brain scan last month came back clear. He has done very few. He has done them every few months since the recurrence rate is about 90%. He said, quote, "Succumbing to the challenge is not an option. You're quickly drawn into a duel. I guess that's the way you find out what you're made of. Whenever you find yourself in any kind of challenging position, just knowing that you're not alone going through it, it's a big deal. It actually helps people to know. It reminds them that they're not alone." Michael said that he decided that he didn't want a prognosis from his doctors because he didn't want to focus on his own optimism and living his life to the fullest. He meditates daily, golfs as much as he can. He works out with a personal trainer and takes voice lessons and voice therapy. I wonder if he's still having pizza with Kermit the Frog.
That's an inside joke.
Well, we had a boss that sounded like Kermit the Frog, and I told you the story before. Michael Bolton was my very first radio interview.
Yeah.
And I was horrible at it because I didn't know anything really about Michael Bolton other than he had these hits that we were playing on the radio station that I was working for. And I botched the whole thing. And before I could, when I got a job here, before I could, bash how horrible Michael Bolton's music was, this guy goes, I know Michael Bolton. Him and I just had pizza at Frank Pepe's last week down in New Haven. Yay!
Now, you would think that would sound like some sort of name-dropping type of exercise, except he could prove it, and that was so exasperating.
Hey, man, this guy, for what it's worth, for all the music that's I feel might be cringe, still got plenty of action because of his music.
I remember when Michael Bolton was a metal singer.
He was a metal singer?
Yeah. It's like early stuff was in like metal bands.
You should have him on that Baxy musical podcast.
Yeah, I'll get right on it.
Why not?
Listen, if he's available, I'd talk to Michael Bolton. Sure.
He has short-term memory. He'll never remember the fact that he had the worst interview in his life with Steve Nagle. Hey, Mike, let me ask you this. Do you remember back in the late 90s? Yeah. Talking to some guy from Springfield who may or may not have sounded like a total dope?
Remember when he was promoting your appearance at the Enfield Square Mall signing autographs?
And asked you about your new record that had come out a year and a half before?
Yeah. Well, hey, it happens. It happens. Before Bella Ramsey was the star of The Last of Us, their first acting gig was at 11 years old on the Game of Thrones as Lyanna Mormont. In a recent interview with Kit Harington, they said they said they felt bad for mouthing his lines to him when they saw he was struggling. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, how awful. But at the time, it came from a very innocent place. Can you imagine an 11-year-old telling you that you're a bad actor? Because you've spent your entire life trying to be a thespian, and you're forgetting your lines, and some 11-year-old is mouthing them to you. Because she paid more attention than you did.
Well, that may be true, but you know what? Even Marlon Brando didn't remember lines. He read everything off of cue cards. You're going to have an 11-year-old kid talk to, like, Marlon Brando? Say, what's the matter? Can't remember your lines, Marlon Brando?
How did Marlon Brando ever make it in that world?
Because the guy could read a cue card better than anybody else.
It didn't sound like he was reading a liner like, you're going to the old Deerfield Craft Fair this weekend.
No.
Kid says it was quite humiliating. Quote, I was like, oh, God, I've got to up my game. I came here not really being comfortable enough with my lines and the arrogance of however old I was, thinking I'm just opposite some child. That is kind of humiliating.
It's terribly humiliating.
Yeah. This kid showed you up. I don't know if Agatha Christie played bingo. Probably. She seems like the type of gal who would, but this wouldn't have been on her bingo card. You know, that's another term that people use. This wasn't on my 2025 bingo card.
Who uses the same bingo card for an entire year?
Who's playing bingo? Anyway, AI is apparently bringing Agatha Christie back to life to teach an online writing course, and according to reports, the classes will feature only her own words. Agatha wrote a ton of mystery books before passing away in 1976 in part of the BBC's Maestro online courses, which have lectures by living experts and artists like Brian Cox,
Brian,
Jojo Moyes, and Harlan Coben. It's an AI class taught by
a woman who's been dead for 50 some odd years.
But can't we learn so much from somebody who's still not alive?
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty to learn from her, but she's not going to be fielding questions, I can tell you that.
You don't know that. You have no idea about that. It's an AI. Yeah,
I guess you're right. The Chat GPT will force words out of her mouth.
Hey, so Agatha, how you doing? I wonder if we even ask her that. How are things? Will you be vacationing in the Hamptons again this year?
Will you be taking the Orient Express anywhere this year?
Perhaps. Selena Gomez unfollowed her bestie, Teresa Marie, days after she was seen having dinner with Benny Blanco. It's also rumored that Benny is subscribed to Teresa's OnlyFans account.
Oh, boy.
That
says it all right there.
Yeah. Jeremy Renner thinks he briefly died during his near-fatal snowplow accident on New Year's Day of 2023. Also, did you know he has an emotional support pig and rabbit? He brought them with him on the Tonight Show. Which
really?
How did he fly with that? You must have to have a private jet in order to. Who's letting you? What other than Spirit?
There are plenty of pigs running loose on that thing.
Yeah, what other airline would allow you to fly with pigs? Speaking of which, Kim Kardashian announced a new luxury travel airline this week, featuring private jet experiences curated for people who deserve to fly above the drama.
Oh, she must have something to say.
Oh my God, the last time I flew above the drama was when Ray J put me in the upright lock position and took me 30,000 thrusts per minute in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
All right. Kaylin?
Well, I never took off with your mother like that, with your mother Chris like that, Kim, but I once did taxi around her landing strip until my nose gear blew out. It was like trying to land a biplane in a wet paper bag.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I navigated that cockpit like Sully Sullenberger on a bender, and when I pulled out, we both needed oxygen masks and a de-icing team. And Spirit Airlines still wouldn't take us back. That's the callback.
I gotcha.
And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 6:11, and the Rolling Stones at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sunny to start, then clouds increasing by this afternoon with a high of 71. Tomorrow, rain with a high of 77. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
You know, I don't know if you heard my incredibly well put together and well presented view from the couch just moments ago.
I'm either able. I had something else to edit in there, so I didn't really. And I had to go outside real quick. But usually I have it on the stream.
Yeah.
While I'm listening to it out of the room. But otherwise, I'll just listen to it tomorrow or later on today when you do it again live at 8:00. Well, but go ahead.
Well, here's the gist. Remember we talked to Cohen on Monday?
I don't want to talk about your view from the couch. God, I don't listen to that.
I'm bringing up a larger point here, and I'm just using the view from the couch as a vehicle to get from point A to point B. Gotcha. So bear with me if you can. On Monday, we talked to Scott Cohen about this kid, the son of the defensive coordinator from the Atlanta Falcons. This is a 21-year-old kid. He finds Shedeur Sanders' personal phone number on his dad's unsecured tablet, grabs the number, calls Shedeur Sanders, and gives him a phony phone call and say, hey, I'm from the New Orleans Saints. We're drafting you next. And, of course, Shedeur Sanders was not drafted next. It was a phony phone call. Well, yesterday, the NFL fines the Atlanta Falcons $250,000 for this prank, and then winds up firing Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, $100,000 for having unsecured data on a tablet that should have been shut off or taken with him. $100,000.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I were that 21-year-old kid, I don't think I'd ever be allowed to leave the house. I think I'd be having to mow the lawn until the remainder of my father's life. And I'm just thinking, you know, I've pissed off my parents enough in my life, but it never cost them $100,000.
No, it may have never cost you $100,000, but you always have to kind of put yourself into the shoes of somebody who is being fined $100,000.
Yes.
What is $100,000 to somebody like them versus somebody like us? Now, I would never be able to come up with $100,000 in order to pay a fine. Is it a drop in a hat for these folks who are making millions of dollars? And it's like, okay, well, it's only 1% of what you make annually or what you've accumulated annually. So, is it really a punishment to fine somebody that much money?
I think, assistant coaches don't make as much as you might think they do. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure Jeff Ulbrich does quite well. But when someone takes away $100,000 and it's your kid's fault, it doesn't really matter whether it's $100,000 or $1,000. It's your kid's fault.
Yeah, but my point being is that's somebody that could probably afford that kind of fine. It's not that, you know, we look at that number for people like us and we're like, oh, $100,000. That's like a year's salary kind of thing in some aspects, and it's
right.
These guys are making that at least to pay that fine.
Let's see, how much does Jeff Ulbrich makes $1.6 million a year.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well,
$100,000 of that is like garnishing your wages from not paying your taxes.
To me, that's somewhat irrelevant. It kind of overlooks the point. The point is your kid did something so stupid that it's going to cost you money. It doesn't really matter how much money. It's just that your kid is so stupid, and you left something wide open for him to steal. That's the kind of thing that every family, I think, can relate to. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I had a friend of mine who convinced me that, when I was a kid, there was something called long-distance calling on your phone. So you couldn't just call the next town for free. Yeah. Every call out of a certain area was a toll call, so you had to pay.
Yeah.
And I had a friend convince me that all I had to do was, click the button, on hanger a couple of times, and once you no longer get the single, then you can dial the number and the call would be free. Now, I was stupid and believed him.
Yeah.
And then what happened is I just called everybody I knew. And 1 month, we got a phone bill of $270.
Damn.
Now, try to imagine, this is 1982. $270, or whatever the hell it was.
It's like a week's worth of wages.
Practically a week's worth of wages. That's like, groceries for 2 months.
Right.
When my dad got the bill, to say he was angry would be like putting it mildly. He was furious. I mean, like fire was coming out of his ears. He couldn't believe that he had a phone bill of $275. And, of course, they used to list all the phone numbers and all the areas in which these calls were made.
You ungrateful little bastard. He won you 2 Pinewood Derby championships, and this is how you treat him?
This is years after the Pinewood Derby.
Right.
So you can imagine, we go from one level to like to the ground level immediately, like in a heartbeat, because his son, his unmechanical son, who watched him from afar build 2 championship Pinewood cars, has now cost him all of this money. In a way, this isn't so much different. It's like my own gullibility and stupidity ultimately cost my dad money, but ultimately it cost me money because I had to find a way to pay it all back, which I did, by the way. I don't remember how I did that.
Yeah, but he had to come up with the upfront cost, and it took you forever to pay that back.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm getting at, and I think that's what's going to happen here.
I don't think that's going to happen here.
It's going to happen here. It's $100,000.
Well, what does this kid do? What does this kid work?
He's 21. Yeah. So what's he probably working at a Arby's or at Applebee's
or something.
That's what
I'm getting at. Dad's making $1.5 million a year. You think this kid's working? I don't think so.
Yeah, but in coaching, you could work for $1.6 million a year and get fired and not work again for another 3 years. So that's just coaching. So while it looks good on paper, there's some realities to it also.
I'm just saying, like, if you really want to drive the fine home, you make it $500,000.
They also fined his employer too, which could have meant he get fired as well.
And the unsecured phone?
It was a tablet.
Yeah.
It should have been turned off or whatever, or code word protected. And it wasn't.
I guess so, but I mean, it's like, how many times have you left your laptop open at home?
Yeah, but my kids aren't walking around all the time near my laptop.
Right, but I'm just saying, most people would probably do something like that. This is why you're not supposed to have anything nefarious on your phone when your other families, if you're living in a home with a family that a kid could pick up a phone that you put down.
You know what you sound like?
What?
You sound like a parent that hasn't had to pay something for their child's mistake yet.
Not financially.
No, yeah, I know. It may come. Hopefully it doesn't, but it may happen that at some point your kid's going to do something stupid, and it's going to wind up costing you an awful lot of money. I'm going to guess that when that happens, when that day finally comes around, you may change your tune a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm affording myself a little glib because it hasn't happened to me.
But when it does, when that day comes, you will be steamed, and there will be fire coming up from the top of your head.
I think the whole thing is kind of stupid. Even the fining process to begin with.
Well, except it's protected data that the NFL, owns. I mean, they share
with
it all.
A price point to it. Who's getting the $100,000?
Well, the NFL is. It's not going to be Shedeur Sanders. By the way, there were 5 other players. I'll talk about this in my next view from the guys. 5 other players that also received phony calls during the draft.
Yeah.
Not this kid. So there's at least 5 of the other idiots out there doing phony phone calls to potential NFL players.
I never caused my parents any financial hardship other than just being alive. But
which may or may not have been a hardship.
But I did make a prank phone call. I think I've told you this before. It was a friend, 2 friends, friends if you want to call them that. But 2 other guys that we were hanging out. This one kid didn't have his parents, were never home. So that was like, the idle brain is a devil's playground, if you will.
Sure.
And here we are hanging at this kid's house almost every afternoon and doing all kinds of hijinks and whatnot. And we decided, hey, we got this Radio Shack suction cup thing that goes to the phone that you can record the phone calls into a tape recorder.
Yeah.
And we started calling. People. And first it was innocent. It was like, hey, your cat's stuck in my tree. And we're like, I don't have a cat. And I'm like, I don't have a tree. And hang up the phone.
Yeah, hilarious.
Your refrigerator's running, that kind of crap. And then it kind of turned in, and it was right around the time that Adam Sandler had come out with that They're All Laughing at Me album. And where he does the Toll Booth Willie impression. Do you remember the Toll Booth Willie?
I think so.
Where it's just a profanity-laced guy from Worcester talking like, and we started calling people like teachers and school administrators, and to the one point where I called the vice principal of the school, and I repeated one of these lines from this Toll Booth Willie thing.
Right.
That was very descriptive.
Sure.
Beating you over a head with a Louisville effing slugger and, things like that.
Something threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you and your fish-eating friends and, all that kind of, thing that he went into. And we didn't get caught right away. What wound up happening was this is something that I, to this day, still feel horrible about. Horrible. Because this poor woman comes home from a long weekend of visiting her sick, dying mother in New Jersey. We lived in upstate New York. Only to get this answering machine message of this guy, of somebody making veiled threats or actually making threats.
Sure.
Over her telephone, and the only reason we got caught was because one of the kids that we were with, his mother was friends with the vice principal. She calls her house and says, "Hey, can your son identify who this is on the thing?" And he doesn't say it's me, right?
Yeah.
But the idiot then, as soon as the mother's off the phone, he picks up the phone upstairs and he calls the other kid's house that we were at. He says, "Hey, you got to get rid of that tape. Like, they're going to catch us." And then the kid's mother's listening in on the extension.
Sure.
She turns us in to the vice principal.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we all get in trouble. And if it happened today, I would have probably been in a juvenile facility because of the type of threats that were said on that phone call. But they wound up, and she didn't even have to do this.
Right.
She wound up giving us like after-school suspensions for like 2 weeks. You have to 1 week was in the room with the teacher until 5 o'clock every night.
Right.
And the other one was a week with the janitors, which was awesome.
That was probably a lot of fun.
That was probably the best one, yeah.
Now let me ask you this. How well did your dad take this news?
Well, he didn't take it very well.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. He, you're already poking the giant alcoholic bear in the room by just by breathing.
Yes.
So when you instigate some sort of process or a incident like this, I know we're running out of time, but when you instigate a process or something like that, that makes him even more angry, to the point where we had to go to the school and sit there while she played the tape in front of everybody.
Including your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never felt so embarrassed by a recording of my own voice, even if it wasn't a different character's voice.
Yeah.
And I only felt that embarrassment again 30 years later when I worked with Dave Coombs.
Right.
I was like, wow, this is the cringiest thing I've ever done.
Right. And so to me, it wouldn't make a difference where you were making, $25,000 a year or $1.6 million a year.
Yeah.
If your kid does something stupid and it winds up reflecting on you and their family, it doesn't really matter what you're making.
Well, I mean,
having a stupid kid goes through all financial levels.
It's a good way to fuel somebody's drinking problem.
Sure is.
Yeah.
It's 626 on Rock 102.
If you'd love to...
It's 627 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown should have the full forecast for you.
Hey, this week my guest on Baxy's Musical Podcast has been Mark Burgess from the Chameleons, the band that played in Boston last night at Big Night Live. They got a brand new album coming out this fall. It's a really great interview. Just an outstanding musician. Next week, though, this is very exciting. My guest is Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers. Remember the Butthole Surfers?
I don't mind the sun sometimes, the image it shows. I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes.
Yes.
Cinnamon and sugary and softly covered lines. You never know just how you look through other people's eyes. I'm not even interviewing the guy, and I know the words better than you do.
I know. And anyway, that was from 1996, the song Pepper. Well, the Butthole Surfers got a brand new live album that's coming out called Live from the Leather Fly. There's also a new documentary that it premiered at South by Southwest about the band called The Butthole Surfers, The Whole Truth and Nothing But. We're going to talk about all of that, but also talking about his job as in production. He produced Sublime and the Meat Puppets and U2 and Weezer and Jane's Addiction. Guy's got an amazing career, and that's going to be available on Monday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as the app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, I do listen to that, and it's pretty good. So
To Butthole Surfers.
No, to your podcast.
Oh, you too?
I do.
Wow. How about that?
Mostly because it's like follows the podcast of our regular show. And
I get
I'm
that.
Stuck listening to it in the car. But,
Understood.
But I think you might be onto something there.
Well, this is a good one, and it's coming up on Monday, so make sure you are listening.
No, but I mean that. It's
well, thank you.
It's actually a very well put. I don't even know. It's well put together, which I don't even know why you don't bring those skills to this show.
Because, listen, I can only spread myself so
I'm like,
thin.
Who's this professional talking?
Who's this knowledgeable rube?
I just sing Neil Diamond with this guy 20 minutes ago.
He still had to look up the lyrics.
Yeah, right? Are you ready to laugh?
Yes.
All right, let's laugh.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, I only have one word for women who look at me like I'm just some sort of sex object.
Yeah? What's that word?
Hi. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
If only it happened more often.
Yeah, it doesn't happen at all.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your weapon.
6:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A man in Springfield is facing several charges following his arrest last week in connection with a break-in and arson, again, with the news dump.
This happened when?
April 24th.
What is today? The 1st of May?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. All right.
According to a news release by the Springfield Fire Department, on April 24th at approximately 4:35 a.m., officers and firefighters received a report of a structure fire at the 200 block of Belmont Avenue. Firefighters quickly put out the flames on the rear porch of the home while members of the arson and bomb squad investigated and found a gasoline can nearby. Maybe these two things are connected. Springfield Fire said that K9 Greg of the arson unit was able to detect accelerants and/or flammable liquids on the porch. Later that day, at approximately 3:30 p.m., officers and firefighters were investigating an attempted arson at a residence on the 100 block of Buckingham Street. A suspect was believed to have poured gasoline inside the victim's apartment. Additional officers arrived to assist the investigators, and the team entered the apartment. The fire department said the crews could immediately smell gasoline inside the home and observed an individual later identified as 30-year-old Nicholas Denson, who then escaped out the back door. He went out the back door, down the streets he'd go. Hollering about the front fire, be lucky to get the back fire.
You're going to get none of it.
Denson was located promptly afterwards on State Street and reportedly shoved an officer before being arrested. He's charged, who's homeless. He's charged with arson of a dwelling or a home and breaking and entering and defacement of a property and assault and battery on a police officer.
There's a lot going on here in this story. First of all, what kind of accelerants were on the porch of the house?
Well, I mean, people have like lighter fluid for their grill or whatever. Accelerants can be many different things.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just paranoid about a fire. I just don't leave all of my accelerants, out in the open. I usually, bring them back into the house or in a secured place.
Like locked up in a garage with no ventilation. That's where you should always keep your accelerants
right.
And your oily rags.
With some kerosene heaters, just to make sure everything is nice and toasty in there.
Yeah, exactly. See, now I think you're getting this. I think you're on to something.
I might be.
Over in Westfield, the Westfield Police Department is asking for the public's help in identifying 2 suspects believed to be connected to a hit and run. Police said that on Monday, a hit and run occurred in the Home Depot, or Bone Deep Throat, if you want to go that way, parking lot between 2:40 p.m. and 3 p.m. Surveillance footage captured the vehicle involved in the incident, as well as 2 men that are believed to have been operating that vehicle. Anyone with information regarding the incident is urged to contact the Westfield Police Department. And they show the picture of these 2 guys. Somebody pointed out that they probably sell clearer cameras at the Home Depot than the ones they used for the surveillance because it was a little fuzzy. And I had commented on that post that I see Larry and I see Daryl, but where's the other brother Daryl? Because they look like they're from
That's what they look like?
the Newhart show.
So this is like a real fuzzy video.
Yeah, it's not a very clear picture of their faces.
Is it possible they didn't buy their cameras at a Home Depot? But
Probably
maybe bought
not.
them at some other place?
Well, Home Depot doesn't want to spend that kind of money on their own products. They get them from cheaper sources.
Yeah, that's right. They went to Lowe's.
Yeah. Hey, Lowe's has got a good sale on these home cameras. Western New England University announced on Tuesday that President Robert Johnson plans to step down from his role this August. The university stated that Dr. Johnson, who began his tenure in 2020, shared with the Board of Trustees that he will step down August 1st. During his time as president, Dr. Johnson served as a leader throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, ushering in a new era.
Where were we where he spoke? Was that at like the Bright Nights Ball?
I think it was. Yeah, it was the Bright Nights.
Yeah, man, what an impressive dude.
Dr. Johnson launched numerous programs at WNE during his presidency, including the XR VR Lab, the FinTech Center, the Center for Advanced Manufacturing, and the Kevin S. and Sandra E. Delbridge Career Center. The university's applicant pool has also doubled and achieved a 94% job placement rate, while Dr. Johnson welcoming the largest incoming class in recent history. Students said that Dr. Johnson will be someone they will miss dearly, with some getting to work with him at events. They said he was always welcoming. Well, good luck to him.
Yeah, good luck. That's good for him. Might not be great for the school, but I'm sure the next person will do a fine job.
Well, you never want to be the next guy.
No, you never want to be the guy that replaces the guy. Just ask that one guy.
Yeah. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is being held for the grand opening of a laundromat in the former Kmart Plaza in Holyoke.
It's about time. There's a lot of people in Holyoke with very filthy clothes.
In a news release from the Greater Holyoke Chamber, the family-owned business Whiting Farms Laundromat opened its location offering high-capacity machines, a welcoming atmosphere, and a commitment to community support. Co-owners Kerry and Jorge have been determined for years to make a difference for Holyoke residents and business owners to provide those with large laundry needs with a comfortable and efficient experience.
This will completely transform the city of Holyoke. I was in Holyoke not too long ago. I'm trying to remember where it was. It may have been at Bacon and Brews. Okay, and I saw a bunch of people who were from Holyoke with giant stains on their shirts. And very filthy pants,
dryer sheets sticking to their clothes.
Oh yeah, dog hair all over the place.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, if there were only a place in the city of Holyoke where someone could take their clothes and wash them in a high capacity setting, I thought, that would completely transform the city.
The high capacity washers and dryers can hold 3 to 12 loads per machine. Soaking nice.
Zing pow. Right. That means 2 things.
Inside a family-friendly atmosphere and a warm, welcoming environment. They send photos, and they put their kid inside one of the dryers to show how big they are.
Just to fluff them up?
Just so everybody knows, that's not how you dry off a child. Even if you put it on delicates.
Yeah, delicates or air fluff.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's fun to watch the kids probably having the time of her life sitting inside this big giant dryer drum, but don't do that.
And you don't want to put them in the washing machine either.
Yeah,
especially if there's an agitator.
Well, they are agitators.
I know, but it's dangerous.
During its grand opening event from 11 to 12 p.m. today, in partnership with Superintendent Soto. this is Whiting Farms Laundromat will distribute laundry gift cards to local families in need. Okay, well that's cool.
good.
Yeah,
It's a good way to reach out.
Whiting Farms Laundromat on Northampton Street is open daily from 7 to 9 p.m. We need what about a laundry?
Wait, for only 2 hours, 7 to 9 p.m.?
7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sorry.
I was going to say.
I know, right?
I mean, you're going to have to really step it up.
That place, this place is dead all day long, except between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Yeah, hurry up. You only got 2 hours to do your laundry.
Is there a bar anywhere that has like a laundromat? That would be a good business. You have a watering hole. You don't have to have it in the bar. You can have it attached to it.
Years ago, and I don't know if it was around here. I don't think it was around here.
Yeah.
But remember we did like a news story of a place called Suds and Duds.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. It was a laundromat.
And you can get beer next door.
No, you could get beer inside the laundromat. Like you could have drinks while you're doing your laundry. Kind of like doing laundry at home.
Yeah.
Only you're in a bar setting.
That's kind of neat.
It's a great way to, to meet people. You want to meet a nice lady, and like, hey, how you doing? I'm Frank. I'm doing a whole load of permanent press.
I don't know how many nice ladies you're meeting, getting hammered and doing your laundry.
Nice enough, and you say, hey, nice to meet you. I'm Frank, and I'd love to fold your underpants. If you know what I'm talking about.
And everything in between.
I think it's a great concept. They may not do it here in Holyoke, but I think the Suds and Duds is a great idea.
Well, I mean, they tried. They wanted to do that with the haircutting place, and they wouldn't give them a license to do that. Remember the sports cut place over there in Allen and Cooley Street?
Yes.
They wanted to put a bar in there, but then the only thing I see with that is there's hair flying everywhere. You know how many glasses of beer you'd have with, somebody's face poobs in there? You know what I mean? Like, do you really want face poobs in your natty daddy?
Could it make it any worse?
Well, no. It could actually. It's not a parsley garnish on the outside.
I mean, it's no different than trying to get past the gold flakes of the Goldschlager, I suppose.
What are people calling about? What is that all about? Let's find out what they're doing.
Rock 102. Good morning. Is this?
This is Eric, the fire guy.
All right, what's up, man?
How many people in that laundromat with a bar next to it go home with wet clothes?
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. That was kind of the point I was gonna try to make, and I forgot about it. But yeah, you put your clothes in, you go. Oh, I put that in the wash. It'll be ready in 30 minutes, and then like an hour and a half goes by. You're crap housed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I still gotta get home. I gotta call the Uber. And you still haven't dried your clothes yet.
Should I dry my clothes?
Yeah.
I guess I'll get another freaking beer.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. There you go.
It reminds me of that old joke. This guy goes out to a bar, and he winds up getting sick, and he pukes all over himself. And the guy says, "Oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to be in a bar. My wife is going to kill me."
Yeah.
The bartender says, "Well, here's what you do. You put a $10 bill in your shirt pocket, and you go home. You say, I was at a bar, and someone puked all over me." And she pay, and the woman, the person who puked on me, paid for me to get my shirt dry cleaned.
Right.
So the guy goes home, and she says, "What happened to you?" She says, "Oh, somebody puked at me in the bar, but they gave me $10 to get it dry cleaned." So she reaches into his pocket. There's two $10 bills. Mm-hmm. She said, "Well, what's another $10 bill for?" He said, "Same guy crapped my pants."
Zing. Zing.
Oh, thank you. I'll be here all
You've been
week.
sitting on that one for years until we finally did a story that opened the floodgates that you could tell that.
Sometimes you just got to strike while the iron is hot.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy with a high of 71. Tomorrow, cloud with some rain showers, high of 77. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
GG Inc.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:49, and Jimi Hendrix of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be cloudy today with a high of 71. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 77. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hey, this week, Dan Williams is going to give you a chance to win tickets to see Bare Naked Ladies and their special guests Sugar Ray and Fastball at Tanglewood on July 8th. Actually, it's a pretty cool show.
I'm going to that.
Are you going?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dan wants to send you to the show. Listen to him all week. He'll have all the details for you. And to find out more, go to rock102.com/concerts from Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
There was a really interesting story about Fastball and that song "The Way," their first big hit.
Yeah.
About the lead singer had heard about this couple that had just gone missing and then they were found dead. So he wrote the story. I might not be giving all the details correctly, but I know he wrote the song based on the story that he had heard. And then he writes the song. It goes popular on the airwaves, and the adult children of the couple that was found dead, was listening to the song while they're driving down the highway, and they're like, "Is that about our parents?" And there was this whole connection thing that they made. It's actually a pretty interesting story.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How about that? Listen to you telling me stories.
Well, I like finding interesting things about music. I mean, you hear all those songs that you hear over and over and over again. You don't sometimes hear the background, and it makes the song more interesting to listen
there's
to.
Usually a story behind every song, behind every band, behind every album. And, some of those stories are great. Some of those are not as great, but some of them are unbelievable. And that's actually a really cool story.
Yeah.
I had never heard that before.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Go Google it.
I will Google.
The Google.
I will do the Googles.
Real quick. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but you saw that I made this social media post yesterday about a hospital bill that I received.
Yes.
I got a hospital bill. I had a follow-up colonoscopy in January.
As opposed to a recreational one?
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't just sign up for those things.
It's too bad.
Yeah. But I had a colonoscopy that was a follow-up from one that I had last year. Now, apparently the first one is free. Not really free. It's
you
covered,
got a BOGO?
It's covered. Yeah, BOGO. Buy one, get one half off, I guess. But I had one. It was covered under the initial, because I was 45 years old, and that's like the requirement now. You have to get one of these things, or you don't have to get one, but you should get one.
Right.
And then I had some issues, so then I had to go back and get the follow-up one. Well, that one wasn't free. You have to pay a deductible on that. And my portion of that was about $1,262.
Okay.
And then I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, this is something they forced you to come back for, and now they won't cover that. It's kind of the health insurance thing is a completely separate issue than what I'm about to talk about. But, it's like a kick in the pants because you're paying these people over $10,000 a year to keep yourself healthy or whatever you want to do. But anyway, so fine. I get this $1,262 bill from Bay State Health. And, it's between the Eversource bill in January and all that other stuff. I get this bill on February 28th. So I'm like, all right, I'll just start sending them money. And then when I can send them more money, I'll send them more money. I mean, as long as you're paying on something, it should be fine, right?
Yeah. So
I sent them immediately the next day $100, March 1st. And then in April, I'm like, okay, well, let me send them $162 to even it off to $1,000. Because that's the way I account for things sometimes. If I have a more even number in my head, I can easily,
Sure.
That's just the way I do.
Simple math.
Yeah, right. So then, today I was planning on sending like $300, to knock it down as quickly as I can.
Sure.
It's not, nothing. I got a phone call yesterday from Bay State Health Accounting, and to which this woman says to me, yeah, I can see you made a couple of payments, but the problem is if you don't pay the whole thing by May 4th, it's going to go into collections. And I'm like, collections? Really? And I was like, how is that even a thing? Because collections is usually for somebody who's not paying anything at all.
Well,
and it's not that I don't. There's a pattern of me paying this for the last 2 months. That it's not like I'm not paying anything on it.
Did they require a minimum payment in the billing?
It doesn't say that at all in the billing. That's what I'm getting.
That's where they're getting you.
But so then she's like, well, it won't go into collections if you set up a payment plan with us. like, what are you talking about? A payment plan? I'm paying you. I paid you $100 first time, and I paid you $162 the next time. I plan on paying $300 tomorrow. Doesn't matter. If you don't set up an agreement with us, that's when it goes into collection.
But that's where they get you.
Yeah.
Because, you're going to be, you will pay them and pay them on time.
Yeah.
But is there like any interest involved in their payment options?
And see, that's where I don't know if there's any interest involved or not. I don't know if it's they just want the promise that you're going to be paying.
Right,
it.
but they'll probably be able to tack on, processing
some kind of
fees
fee and all
some
that
other
crap,
right, exactly.
So I was a little angered by that because I'm like, okay, I can understand if I didn't pay anything at all.
Sure.
But I'm making a valiant effort to pay this thing down. But I wound up paying the whole thing. I wound up just paying the $1,000 yesterday just to get it done with.
Right.
To not have to deal with collections. Now, I know I put the post up and I put the letter that I sent them yesterday, and I didn't sign it "Patient Sad Clown." I did that for Facebook purposes. Thank you very
did?
much. Yeah.
Because I thought that was
smart ass.
I thought that was the best part of it.
Yeah, well, it was the best part for the social media entertainment aspect of it. But I sent them this letter.
Because that's really showing them human business.
Yesterday we do a story about they're boasting about themselves. Basically, we're cutting 7% of our workforce, but look at all the things we're doing. We got billions of dollars that we're investing, and things are going well, and all this stuff. And meanwhile, they're turning around and saying, "Oh, by the way, we want the whole thing." It's like shaking you down like a loan shark.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
See, now had you signed up for a payment plan with them, and they would be able to tack on additional fees because they're not getting paid right away, they'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
But if you're paying them in installments based on your ability to pay, and only your ability to pay, well, that's not good enough for them.
But
even though they eventually get their money.
And the response on this post was actually pretty overwhelming. And with all the I'm not the only one dealing with it. There are so many people, and it's this scare tactic crap that they use. And granted, there's a new law that was just passed back in the beginning of January, that they can't hold medical bills against your credit report. However, that doesn't mean that they're not allowed to put anything into collections. Now, that can hurt you down the road.
Sure.
And again, I'm grateful and I'm lucky enough that I'm able to pay this bill. But I'm more concerned about the people that can't. We get together every year and we raise money to, 1 in 3 families throughout the area who can't afford food assistance?
Yep.
They're dealing with those things. They're dealing with these medical bills and these predatory practices done by hospitals, which is a bunch of bullshit, if you ask me. I mean,
But as we've heard this week, because we also talked about
Mercy
what's going on at
Hospital.
Mercy.
Yeah.
This is not just the hospitals here in this area. This kind of foolishness is going on all over the state, and it's going on all over the country, where they're far more concerned with the money than they are with your care. That's unfortunately the way hospitals have turned. And it's unfortunate because we all need hospitals.
Yeah, but you're threatening people into paying a bill, and then those people going, wait a minute, so do I have to pay this bill to stay alive or put food on my table? I mean, there's a balance of that people, and it's like added stress. And it seemingly doesn't need to happen that way. Now, if you had called me yesterday and said, "Hey, Mr. Nagle, I appreciate that you're making the payments on this thing. Would you like to set up a payment plan?"
That would have been a great way of doing it.
Yeah, but it's like this threat of, well, hey, give me the money now, hey, because like you didn't pay the loan shark at the end of the day.
Otherwise, Paulie Walnuts is going to show up at the bottom of your driveway.
Listen, stand up for yourself. If you're getting bullied by somebody like that, and especially somebody who boasts about how great they are, and again, this has nothing to do with the hardworking employees that work at that hospital. I am not putting them down. They're the ones that are holding that crap show together. I'm talking about the administration and the process, and then telling people, Oh, we're investing all this money, but you know why? How we're getting that money?
Yeah.
We're bullying people out of it. So just stand up for yourself.
It's 7 o'clock with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Call or text us anytime on the. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, last hour I told you about the NFL imposing a $100,000 fine on Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Ulbrich was fined after his 21-year-old son grabbed the phone number of quarterback Shedeur Sanders from his dad's unsecured tablet and called him pretending to be from the New Orleans Saints, which he was not, and promising that the Saints would be drafting him next, which they did not. On top of that $100,000 fine, the NFL also imposed a fine against the Atlanta Falcons for $250,000. Now, you might wonder, Baxie, what sort of ignorant little bastard is this no-good kid? Well, I was wondering the same exact thing, because while I'm all for an occasional good-natured practical joke, it's only really funny until somebody either loses an eye or gets a $100,000 fine. But as it turns out, this was not the only crank call that was made during the NFL draft. Several players received phony phone calls on draft day, including Giants rookie pass rusher Abdul Carter, Cleveland defensive tackle Mason Graham, Colts tight end Tyler Warren, Philadelphia quarterback Kyle McCord, and Buffalo rookie offensive tackle Chase Lunt, who I should point out played for UConn. Strangely enough, there is absolutely no current evidence linking Jeff Ulbrich's kid to any of these other crank calls, which means that for some reason there are at least 5 other idiots who are under the impression that it's hilarious to call up kids on draft day and fill them with false information. Listen, short-sheeting in somebody's bed, that's funny. Dipping their hands in a bucket of ice water while they sleep, absolutely hysterical. Whoopee cushions, joy buzzers, dribble glasses, fake turds, and rubber puke, all comedy classics. But telling a kid he's being drafted by the New York Jets, that's an act of cruelty I wouldn't wish on anybody. And frankly, that sort of thing has to be stopped before somebody gets hurt. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, before you paint your house, or even just the bedroom, you need to ask, how many houses have I painted? You want to go to Rocky's. There's a trained paint professional at every store. If you're in Agawam, that person is Rose. She'd love to help you out. Good people, rock solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock at 712 and Foreigner with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It's going to be, cloudy today with a high of 71. Tomorrow, rain with a high of 77. It is 44 right now in downtown Springfield. By the way, big comedy show tomorrow night at Shaker Farms Country Club with Fitzy from TownieNews.com. You remember that guy?
I vaguely recall his name being used on the show maybe 200-300 times.
We may hear from him next hour.
Shut up.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know. Maybe he left a message or something of that nature. But we will have that for you.
Really?
Next hour. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's happening Friday night at Shaker Farms Country Club. You can. It's at Shaker Farms on Venmo.
I got you.
Apparently, the Venmo code didn't quite make it to their website for some reason.
Yeah, that's always good.
So that's at Shaker Farms, but it's $30 for the dinner and the show. $35 if you want to pay at the door, but it should be a good time.
Well, that'd be nice. That'd be fun.
It will be fun.
We have some things that we'll give away a little bit later on this morning. Tickets to see Beautiful Loser at 52 Sumner for Saturday. Also, tickets to the Provision Italian Wine Festival in Amherst. That's also going on Saturday, too.
Oh yeah, the big wine festival we were talking about yesterday.
That's right.
That was actually a very funny conversation.
Yeah, it was kind of
I listened to that on the way home yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't listen to it. But
why not?
Because I was actually listening to other things. Sometimes, believe it or not, I don't always review what just happened.
You don't like to listen to the sound of your own voice?
Not always, no.
I thought we were both egomaniacs enough that we love that kind of thing.
No. I mean, there are times when I completely fall in love with the way I sound. But there are other times when I've had enough of myself. I'm with myself all day long.
All day long?
Every single day. I can't get away from myself.
Have you ever been out with friends?
Yes, I have.
Really?
Many times.
And been panicked because your phone was dead?
Yeah, actually, I have.
Yeah. In a viral TikTok, because, everything is true on TikTok.
True.
A woman says she just found out that you can share battery life. She can charge her phone by hooking it up to one of her friend's phones, and she's shocked that this is possible. But how do you do that, though?
I think if you have the right connector, you can plug one phone with a cord into another, and it's kind of like jumping your battery in a car.
Oh, I see. All right. A lot of people in the comments are saying this is obvious, and you can always charge devices with other devices, like how you can charge your phone or tablet from your laptop. It also works with watches. Of course, it isn't always an option. She had her charging cable and was compatible with her friend's phone. That's what I'm saying. Like, you'd have to have the same type of cable.
Right.
Some phones don't even require one. You can just lay one on top of another. Well, I guess if you have that magnetic charging thing that you just lay the phone down on and that starts charging the phone, I guess that would make sense if you were doing that with another phone. But I've never seen the battery go off when I put another phone next to somebody else's phone.
That I haven't seen, but I would think it's possible, I suppose. But I have definitely seen two phones get hooked up as long as you have the right cord and the right adapters.
You also need to make sure the phones play nice and that you're not agreeing to have anything transferred or synced. But the biggest hurdle is, unless you're being very devious, your companion needs to agree to giving you some of their charge, which might be a bigger ask than you think. Like, can I borrow some of your battery power?
There is something that makes you panic when you're down to 20%, 10%, and listen, this Candy Crush ain't going to play itself on 10%. I can tell you that right now. I'm not going to be able to scroll my TikToks at 10%. We'll rip through that battery life in no time at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In my car, I've actually got one of those magnetic chargers, like built in. So I just place the phone down there. I don't necessarily have to hook it up to a wire. It charges up to 80%. Not a bad deal.
No, not a bad deal at all.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
The only thing is, with these, I think Apple's now changing everything over to the USB-C cord because in Europe they forced them to do that to make it more universal, which is about time. Yeah, I'm so sick of buying these chargers that, like the Apple Watch charger.
Yeah.
That's like a unique thing in itself.
Yeah.
Although I figured out the Apple Watch charger can also charge the AirPods.
Can it? Really?
Yeah. It's got the magnetic hook on the back of it. If you just put it up to the back of it, it'll charge it. I don't know if that's on newer versions or only newer versions or the older versions, but it still worked.
You know what pisses me off? And this I have found this many, many times about so let's say, for example, you need to get a new cord for your phone.
Yeah.
Well, if you buy it from Apple, it's $30. Doesn't matter. It's $30. But if you buy one of them knockoffs, like on an Amazon, with the same connections and all that other stuff, they die quickly.
Really?
Yeah. So like I get like a whole bunch like around Christmas time, and I like the longer cord so I can charge it on and at least have some level of mobility while it charges. These things last for like 2 months and they die.
Yeah.
Same thing with the little cubes. If you gotta buy the cube, you gotta buy an Apple cube because if you're buying one of them knockoffs, it's gonna die.
Or it tells you it's not compatible with your phone. Did you ever have that one
all
happen
the time?
To you? Yeah,
all the time. And I have to believe that's probably a setting inside the phone that makes it happen. When it identifies it's not one of our products, then they list, oh no, we can't use this. I just spent $30 on four charging cords because I didn't want to spend $30 for one on the Apple Store.
Yeah.
What a rip it is.
It's a rip.
Total rip.
I got duped one time buying one of those 20-foot cords from a truck stop years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, a 20-foot cord. They can do. The problem is I had the phone too close to me and I broke the thing off. It's like within an hour of buying it.
Yeah.
I broke it while I was, charging it in the car. I had picked up the phone to move it, and the thing snapped. And it was almost money wasted on, like, crap. And the idea that, a company, they got you by the short and curlies.
Sure.
Because what are you going to do? You're either going to spend the money buying multiple cords that are cheap, or you're going to buy the one expensive cord from them.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Of course, because it's a constant it's a constant cash flow for them. If you were to buy your phone outright.
Yeah.
Just outright. And some people do, and some people do the payment plan. But if you buy it outright, they're not going to get any money from you until either you sign up for something, or you need a cord, or you need to update something or whatever. That's the only way they get money. If you go do the payment plan for your iPhone, it's a constant stream of money for them.
Yeah.
And they try to convince you, you'll save all kinds of money doing that. I'm not so sure if that's true. I'm not convinced. I mean, I would need to see the math and then have someone explain the math to me 4 or 5 times before I actually got it. But I'm thinking it's all about them wanting more of your cash.
Yeah, probably.
That's why the cords don't work. That's why the charging cubes don't last. That's why you got all these things.
It's like, you monopolize your own. I mean, they did a good job doing that. Apple.
Well, they weren't stupid.
Yeah, no. They, especially with their things, but it's just so frustrating when you can't charge one thing with another. I tried to charge my laptop with, again, years ago, I bought all this Apple integrated stuff because it was the best operating system to run DJ equipment. I had originally started out with Windows,
right,
and the thing was crashing all the time. And you can't be doing an event and have the thing crash on you in the middle of the event.
No.
At least with the Apple, if the thing freezes up, it still plays whatever music that you have going on behind. So you're not going to be like, screwed in the middle of somebody's first dance at their wedding. You imagine if that happened?
That would be,
because it's happened before to somebody, I'm sure. That the system goes down because you
during
didn't
that
have...
first dance too, man. That's brutal.
I always hated doing those.
The first dance.
That was the anxiety part of the DJ work, was making sure that you got the introductions right. And once you got past that, then everything was seeming a little bit easier for the rest of the night. Because then it was just making sure the Cupid Shuffle played in its full length, and you're hitting the beats right. But it was always that, like, initial, because you're like, you could completely screw up these two people's day.
Yeah, it would be
just by not playing a song correctly.
It's fine if at the Smith wedding or the Johnson wedding, but at the Trisbilowitz wedding, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. What does that make a difference?
Well, because you're
messing up the names.
When you see it written down because you can pronounce it if you don't see it, but if you see it like there's an extra Z in there I didn't count for.
You know what I used to do, and this was actually a pretty genius thing on my part, because you know how I can't talk most of the time, even when I'm reading a regular news story.
I've seen that.
I would get the pronunciations from the people and pre-produce the whole thing. So it would just be a sound file.
Oh, see, that's smart.
Yeah, it's and the only time it would ever not work is if somebody was added or somebody didn't, show up. But you could quickly edit that out or edit a new name in, if they added somebody at the last minute or whatever like that. But for the most part, that was great. I should start selling those. The only problem is I don't have the licensing to the music, so I can't sell them.
Can't do that.
No, but hey, I could just do the voice, and you could put it to the music, and you worry about the copyright fees.
Let's let ASCAP go after you.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
Interesting.
Right.
It's 7:24 on Rock 102. It's 7:26 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown should have the full forecast for you.
Yeah, I don't typically do this, but when the business manager tells us to do it, then I feel like I have to do it. I want to say congratulations to Rudy, who works at the UPS up in Hadley. He is retiring today.
We're doing a shout-out. That's
doing a shout-out. Yeah, he's retiring today after 41 years on the job. Can you imagine working on the same place for 41 frickin' years.
Especially UPS.
Oh, my
God. What
God.
can Brown do for you?
I'll tell you what,
Not
they can
get me out of here fast enough is what they can't do.
They can throw you a party after 41 years. That's what Brown can do for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, there you go. Congratulations to you, Rudy. Enjoy your retirement. You've clearly earned it.
Did they give you a gift? Did they give you a little? Did they send a package to your house?
Yeah, they give you free shipping for a year.
Yeah. UPS is one of those companies that takes their shipping really seriously.
They do. They're a real. It's a real grinder up there.
You gotta, if you're a manager at the UPS, like if there's a strike going on, you got to be one of them scabs and cross the picket line. I've seen it many times when I was working with the choo-choos. They'd have a strike every once in a while, and then these managers they'd have to put on the brown uniforms.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm. They were like the Minutemen of the of the UPS thing. One time I actually saw this is how dedicated these managers are to UPS. One time there was a trailer in the rail yard on fire. Like something must have exploded, like a battery or something started setting the other packages on fire.
Yeah.
Well, before the fire department got there, you had 2 UPS managers throwing packages out the back to save the rest of them.
How heroic.
I know.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being so dedicated to if this place was on fire, would you start taking out radio equipment?
No. I'd be throwing stuff more. I'd be throwing stuff into it.
Yeah, I'd be let it burn to the ground. That's what insurance is for.
We got a storage shed right next to the building. I'd be tossing stuff on the fire and make s'mores.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, let's have a barbecue here in the parking lot.
There are 3 occupations where if you ever talk to anybody in these occupations, they know exactly how much time they got left before retirement. Yeah. And it's like every single person that works is either a cop, a teacher, or a UPS employee.
Yeah.
Like those are the 3. They always know how much time you get left. 34 days. 34 days. Yeah. They know it by the day. I mean, I know it because I count it down for me.
You have a countdown.
Yeah, I got a countdown, which, by the way, is 2,327 days. But who's tracking it with me? Nobody.
Yeah, that doesn't happen over at FedEx. Well, how long you got left? As long as this eagle flies, I'm still soaring.
I don't have time to count the days because these packages absolutely positively have to get there overnight.
One of my favorite SNL skits was was Rob Schneider in it was a commercial for this packaging company.
Yeah,
that would and now I can't remember the name of the packaging company, but it was like if you needed something to get something there on time and you couldn't, they'll backdate the package for you and run a tire over it and do all these things. And
I remember that.
And then deliver it. That's something.
Yeah, because then it becomes their fault, not yours.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, and then, you think about how ridiculous. I mean, what a great idea that would be. But then you're like, you can't do that with federally protected packages. That's against the law.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
All right.
We got news next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass
32 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A man accused of setting a fire to an apartment building on Belmont Avenue in Springfield last week has been taken into custody. 30-year-old Nicholas Denson is facing multiple charges, including arson and attempted arson. The Springfield police said that Denson is suspected of starting a fire that occurred early in the morning last Thursday. At around 4:35 a.m., officers and firefighters responded to the 200 block of Belmont Avenue for a report of a structure fire. Springfield firefighters were able to put out that fire on the rear porch, according to Ryan Walsh. So how did authorities determine the fire had been set?
How?
Members of the arson and bomb squad began. I'm asking you as a Western Mass News questionist.
Oh, I haven't. I thought you were asking me personally.
Members of the arson and bomb squad began investigating and located a gasoline can near the fire. Arson Canine Greg detected the accelerants and/or flammable liquids on the porch. Denson was arrested about 12 hours later, but right before he was taken into custody, authorities say he also attempted to start a fire at a home on Buckingham Street. At around 3:30 p.m., members of the Springfield Arson and Bomb Squad were at a home on the 100 block of Buckingham Street investigating an attempted arson. A suspect, later identified as Denson, is alleged to have poured gasoline inside of a victim's apartment. Well, it needed a fill-up. It was low.
Yeah, it was down a few gallons.
Yeah, the sign on the door said E.
Yeah, I don't think that you're supposed to do that.
That's when police say they saw Denson flee out a back door. Shortly afterwards, they were able to track him down on State Street. Denson shoved an officer before officers were able to take him into custody. Police have now charged him with arson and dwelling of a house, breaking and entering, defacement of property, and assault and battery on a police officer. He was arraigned on April 28th, where he pled not guilty to all charges. According to court records, he's being held and was ordered by a judge to Bridgewater State Hospital for hospitalization and examination as to competence to stand trial.
That's where they send you. They send you to Bridgewater.
Well,
They think you got a little bit of a problem that's not entirely medical. That's where you go.
2 people were taken to the hospital after crashing into a deli in Pittsfield Wednesday morning.
Steve, I believe it's pronounced Pittsfield.
Have you ever been there?
I have.
Then I don't think you're pronouncing it properly. Pictures posted by the Pittsfield Police Department show one car spun on the side of the road and a truck lodged in the front door of the deli. 2 people involved were taken to Berkshire Medical Center and expected to be okay. Thankfully, no one inside or directly outside of the deli got hurt. But damn, turning that place into a drive-through.
Yeah, well, I don't think it has that. What do we know anything about this deli?
No, I don't. I don't think it's what I think it is. No, I don't think. There's a place out there. They have a couple of locations called Angelina's Subs.
Yeah.
Super good.
In Pittsfield?
Pittsfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good.
Really? What makes them so special?
I don't know. It's just it's always bread that makes the sandwich. You know, anybody can put ham and cheese, processed ham and processed cheese on something.
The bread is important, but I think also the quality of the meats are important, too.
That's what I like about Richard's Grinders, is the bread is like, there's something about that bread that makes that sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they have good toppings and things like that, but I mean, if you don't have that bread, you're just selling sweatshop sandwiches.
No, I hear you. To me, the bread is crucial, but I've always felt that if you're putting half-rate meats on top of very good bread, then all you're giving me is good bread and sweatshop meats.
Sweatshop meat.
Right.
That sounds gross.
I like a higher quality meat. I would like something that gives me a better chance of something delicious, like listeria or botulism.
I told you I got a meat slicer now.
Really?
I do. I'm waiting to maybe have some people over, and then I'll make something. Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do with a meat slicer every day? You got to clean the whole thing afterwards and sterilize it and whatnot.
Yeah. So what are you slicing already? Hams, salamis?
I'm not slicing anything yet.
So you haven't even used it?
No, I'm waiting to use it because I got a wicked deal on it from a person who was moving, and she was like, "Do you want to buy this meat slicer? $100.
$100?
Yeah,
it's like giving it away.
Well, I mean, you think about how much is a meat slicer? $500-$600 for a brand new one.
Now, is this the one that plugs in so the blade is constantly going? Not constantly. It's got a switch on it.
Yeah, it's got a switch on it. It's actually a modern machine. I had gotten one a couple of years ago that was a little outdated from a guy.
Yeah.
That I had given to my brother as a gift
Mm-hmm.
because he's more the dangerous one. He doesn't need a safety guard.
Who needs it?
He's one of those brawny man type of guys. I don't need a safety guard on my meat slicer.
Listen, I made you a sandwich. Part of my finger is on it.
But I can't wait to slice meat so thin you can't even see it.
Well, how do you know it's there?
I just assumed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to using that. Maybe I'll make some roast beef sandwiches or something.
Oh yeah.
Because you can get like a cheaper cut of meat, and if you slice it thin enough, you can make like steak sandwiches out of it and stuff like that.
Sure, you can get it shaved. That's what they call it,
shaved steak.
I like a little bit more thickness to it. That's just me. I don't need it too thin.
You like a thick tube steak, is what you like.
Who doesn't like a thick tube steak?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
A new TikTok trend is raising health and safety concerns, specifically regarding your eyes. You may have heard of people who lengthen their eyelashes to improve or change their appearance with things like mascara or serums. But a new trend has people doing the opposite, shaving them off.
Oh, my God, no.
From the ice bucket challenge to eating a spoonful of cinnamon, we've all heard of some crazy internet trends, but a new one is sweeping across social media apps where participants shave off their eyelashes in an attempt to look more masculine. These videos gaining hundreds of thousands of likes and shares. I think a lot of the TikTok trends are not necessarily promoting good health. It's promoting a trend, said Forest Park eye care optometrist Britt Adornato. Emphasized. Adornato says that tells Western Mass News that cutting or shaving off your eyelashes is not only dangerous because of razors being so close to such a sensitive area, but also because eyelashes are important to protect your eyes.
Yeah, it keeps stuff from falling into your eyeballs. You don't want that kind of stuff.
I would say it's probably not something people want to be doing, she advised, especially because of how uncomfortable it can make you. Everyone knows what it feels like to get dust or dirt blown into your eye. How uncomfortable can that can be?
And it always grows back thicker.
No, that's just an old wives' tale.
Is it? Is it?
Well, Adornato hasn't seen impacts.
Look at me.
I'm hideous. Look away.
Listen, as someone who's gotten almost a head-to-toe shave job lately because of a medical procedure, trust me, you don't need to do that.
I once shaved my eyebrows off when I was like 4 years old after getting a hold of one of my dad's razors. That's when I had hair, though.
Yeah.
I had a full head of hair.
I bet that looked really good on you.
Oh, yeah, it looked great. No, and, see, and that was in the day where nobody really thought to take a picture of that because you'd be wasting film in the camera. Nowadays,
Yeah, you can take like 100 pictures of it.
Yeah.
Different angles.
Yeah. You know what? I did cost my parents money now that you talk about that. You know what I did once when I was a youngin'? I was probably 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I urinated on the electrical outlet.
Why? Because your dad was too busy using the dishwasher?
I don't know. I urinated. Yeah, probably. I remember. I don't even remember why I did it because I was just a little kid, and I remember in my bedroom I decided, hey, you know what? This might be something I should do. And I think I did it like 2 or 3 times. And I remember hearing the sound coming out of the wall going, wow, that's cool. I can hear the sound. Zzz, right? And finally, on the 3rd time, it all happened within 1 day from what, according to my mother, when she had told the story. Right. And I remember standing back, and thank God I was standing back far enough.
Right.
Because all of a sudden, sparks flew out of the wall all over the bedroom carpet.
It could have got you on a business.
Well, I could have started the house on fire, too. But luckily, I had wet the floor enough that wasn't going to happen. But sparks flew out of the wall, and it blew like the whole, it blew the I don't know if it blew the electrical panel, but it was something that it blew a circuit.
Yeah,
that was it was kind of a costly repair.
You definitely blew a fuse or two.
I mean, it's no $100,000 fine for making a prank phone call after breaking into my dad's tablet.
But still,
yeah. But I remember doing that. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why you would do that either. But you're a 4-year-old kid. What do you know? The world is your toilet at 4 years old.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, these kids, they go in all kinds of places.
So true.
Yeah. So anyway, stop shaving your eyebrows, you idiots. Or your eyelashes.
I'm actually at the point now where my body is stopping the itch.
Yeah.
Because when I had my ablation, they had to shave like my whole abdomen.
It took that long?
Well, no, it's not fully back. It's getting close.
But I mean, you're a particularly hairy guy, so I mean, you think it would seemingly grow back quicker than what was that? Over a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah. You would think it would grow back quicker than that.
I don't know. I mean, it's growing at a good pace, at a pretty good clip, but still, man, you still go through that itchy stage. It drives you crazy.
The eyelash thing. I mean, don't women have those eyelash cutters? Don't they have those?
They're not cutters. They're eyelash curlers, and they don't cut the eyelashes.
Oh, is that what that thing is?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
It makes them kind of like do a little flippy thing. It actually lengthens or gives the illusion that they have long eyelashes.
So you can look like Beyonce. Is that the?
I guess I don't know. I don't know why it's so important to have long eyelashes.
Well,
I mean, you're willing to glue a fake one on your eyes. That can't be good for you either.
you know, the great thing about Thomas the Tank Engine is that he's always on time. You know that?
Good transition.
He's not a, well, I'm moving on to something.
I see, yes.
Yeah, and he's not a speed demon putting young children in danger. A 37-year-old woman in New York named Danielle De Silva was caught speeding at 102 miles an hour on Sunday morning, and she had a 2-year-old in the SUV at the time. There was also an adult male passenger in the vehicle. When the officer asked why she was driving recklessly, she explained that she was late for a Thomas the Train event. She was then charged with reckless driving, reckless endangerment in the second degree, risk of injury to a minor, and failure to stop on the right side of the road. She was released on a $500 bond. How important is the Thomas the Train event?
Well, how much
to
for the tickets?
2-year-old?
How much for the tickets?
Yeah, I guess you know what, New York area. That's probably going to be a hefty price. All right, I'll give her a pass this time.
You know, parents may not realize this, but a 2-year-old will forget all about not going to Thomas the train.
I mean, think
show.
about I remember having for when my daughter turned 1, the oldest daughter turned 1.
Yeah,
we had this big party, and I'm thinking to myself, this kid isn't going to remember
any of it.
The only thing the kid's going to remember is the picture that we took of her passed out in the birthday cake. You know, because it's so cute and funny when the kid passes out in the birthday cake. But we went to all that length and spent all that money for something that somebody's never going to remember without pictures.
This is for your oldest daughter, right?
We did it again for the second one too.
Why?
I have no idea. I was just a laborer. I just did what I was told by the slag boss.
And well, your wife was a good hostess. I'll give her that.
She was great,
great hostess.
Listen, I just followed the lead for the most part. But in hindsight, it's like, did I spend all that money on decorations? And stuff?
See, the big elaborate first birthday is something that a new parent does.
Yeah.
And the more kids you have, the smaller that first party becomes, because you realize, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah.
I'm not really doing it for the kid, because you're right, they will have absolutely no recollection of this day at all, but I just spent $4,000 on a party for a 1-year-old.
What is the first birthday you remember? Yeah, and you don't even know what age because you don't remember. It's all fuzzy memories.
The first birthday I remember was probably when I turned 21. And you
didn't even remember that.
I didn't remember half the night.
Yeah, I think I don't even know how old I was, but I remember having a Cookie Monster cake. And
that's cool.
Eating so much of the Cookie Monster cake, I threw up all the blue frosting everywhere, all over the kitchen floor. Memories.
Yeah.
See, that's what a kid remembers. The kid doesn't remember anybody, the mitigating circumstances surrounding the birthday.
Yeah, they just
remember the traumatic part where I threw up all that cake.
You're puking up the rainbow. That's totally different.
Yeah, Cookie Monsters all over the floor. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy with a high of 71. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 77. It's 49 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's just about 7:54 in Queen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy with a high of 71 today. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 77. It's 49 right now in downtown Springfield.
Really nice event coming up in Amherst over the weekend on Saturday. Provisions Italian Wine Festival is going on. Their poster says, "Buttloads of wine poured by the hands that made it." Man, that is like poetry right there.
Provision, what is it called, bro?
Provisions Italian Wine Festival. It's happening at the Provisions Mill District in Amherst, 65 Coles Road. Actually, it looks like a very, very nice event, and we happen to have tickets to that event right now. 10th caller, 293-1021. Good luck to you.
Hey, it's the Provisions Italian Wine Festival. Oh!
Who would like some cheese to be paired with a wine?
Who wants to come for the Pinot Grigio and the Merlot? Come on, let's go.
I love myself a good Beaujolais.
I love Beaujolais. Beaujolais is my kind of thing. Oh, come on down to the Italian Wine Festival. Stomp on some grapes with your feet, you scumbags.
You won't see wine in a box within 50 feet of this joint.
Oh, look at this. Look at the way they squash those grapes. Who? Make sure you get you treated for that that athlete's foot before you stomp on all those grapes.
I'm pretty sure only the people with the finest feet actually get a chance to do that.
Oh, who's this Rianiti? Who a bougie guy? Look at you with your bougie screw top coming out here in your wine. Oh, come on down to the Provisions Wine Festival.
Would anyone like to sniff the cap?
Hey, oh, yeah. Who wants to let the screw cap sit on the top of the bottle of your Lambrusco to let it aerate?
You could smell the spigot from the box if it makes you feel good.
Yeah, how about an ice luge? We could do Pinot Grigio on the ice luge. Who wants to do that? Oh, she needed the money.
10th caller, 293-1021. Good luck on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Benjamin Moore Paint, Cabot Stains, plus rock-solid painting advice and expertise.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, it's an old saying that you can always tell a 21-year-old, but you can't tell them much. When I was 21, that sort of phrase meant nothing to me. It was nothing more than the sort of nonsensical poppycock that can only come from the bitter hostilities of an older adult. Because you see, when I was 21, I was quite certain that I knew everything, and that all anyone needed to do was chill the hell out and get out of my way. As it turned out, I didn't know anything at the age of 21, and in hindsight, I might have been an idiot. As it turns out, there are loads of 21-year-old idiots in the world, including Jax Ulbrich, the son of Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. Earlier this week, I reported that Jax had admitted to making a crank phone call to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. According to reports, Jax Ulbrich found Shedeur's phone number on his father's tablet and called him pretending to be from the New Orleans Saints, promising the young quarterback that he was their next pick. Yesterday, the NFL decided to fine the Atlanta Falcons to the tune of $250,000 for the prank. They've also imposed a fine on Jeff Ulbrich for another $100,000 for failing to secure his tablet. In a statement released yesterday, Jeff Ulbrich apologized for not protecting his confidential information. Also stated, quote, "My son's actions were absolutely inexcusable, and for that, we are both deeply sorry." Man, this kid is in trouble. I mean, it's one thing for a kid not to take out the trash or do his homework. It's another thing to do something that's going to cost your father $100,000. This kid's going to spend the rest of his life mowing his father's lawn, raking the yard, cleaning the pool, washing his car, cleaning his room, and of course, somehow, finding a way to pay back that $100,000. Sure, he's technically a 21-year-old adult who's fully capable of making his own very stupid decisions, but until he pays off that $100,000 fine, he's always going to be that kid that almost got his dad fired for making a phony phone call. And that is why this kid is so damn stupid. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know you can grill with propane, or you can go to Rocky's for a Traeger Woodbridge, the wood pellet grill that's fully digital. Get true wood-fired grill flavor. The Traeger Woodbridge, only $700 right now at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:09 and Quiet Riot with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Yeah, I guess we're going to play something, and now we can't because of the beautiful equipment that we have here.
Oh, are you blaming the... What is it? Are you blaming the nut, or are you blaming the wheel, or the nut behind the wheel? What was that? What was that saying?
The wheel behind the nut, or the nut behind the wheel?
That's what I.
Here's
meant
the problem:
say.
I can't play this. I mean, I can play it directly from the thing.
Yeah.
But there's this one point at the end where I'd have to cut it off.
Well, I mean, can I press the button and dump it?
Well, let me just see something real quick. Can you turn it on for a second?
All right. Yes. Okay. Go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That right there, right?
That's it.
So let's take that out.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Let me just take that portion out.
Yep.
And see.
555. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay.
So now we can play this. It's not going to sound like I originally intended. You know, we have this entertainment thing going on here where, we try to make things sound like it was an authentic voicemail.
Sure.
But this is a voicemail that we got. Ready?
Yeah.
Hello. You have reached the Bax and Nagle voicemail box. After the tone, please leave your message just like Bax left his first wife. Beep. Yeah, hey, is this the number for the Bax and Nagle show at Rock 102, which also used to be the Bax and O'Brien show, which conveniently used to be the number for Mike's Motorcars and Methadone Clinic of Western Mass? Yeah, hey, listen, I was just calling for some information about this comedy show Friday night at Cumberland Farms or, the Shaker Farms Country Club. Well, that sounds like a really prestigious place. Yeah, it says, there's a picture of this, like, low-rent Lex Luthor-looking guy on the front cover, plus this other really cool dude in, like, a Patriots Cape Cod shirt and a beer. Is this like the Nagle and Fitzy comedy show? Oh, man. That guy Fitzy, he used to call into your shows on Thursday mornings and do, like, the most hilarious, lightly scripted, mostly improvisational sports comedy routines with you guys. Oh, those were great. And it was awesome because, like, you know, discount Lex Luthor and the Penguin or whatever you call Bax, and then like when it was like Unshaven Penguin and like Frankenstein there. Man, they were always ripping it up and laughing, and sometimes we got in trouble, and they did, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, wow, this sounds like it's gonna be awesome. $30 for like food that was in the dumpster at the Olive Garden with comedy, and you can buy drinks. Oh man, at a place where people's golf games go to die. I can't wait. This is gonna be. I'm just curious for some more information or whatever, because it's definitely not Fitzy calling in. Anyway, okay, cool. Should be a great time. I'll take the chicken / meatballs with the red or white sauce, salad bread, 4 Tagament, 2 Percocets, and hopefully Nagle's quick with his routine up top. Okay. Anyway, yeah, let me know about that. You can call me back at 555-5555. All right. See you Friday. P.S. The Mayflower pantry is a scam. Nagle steals all the food and feeds it to his children and his family during the holidays. Love you. Bye.
There you go.
Oh, there you
There's a nice
go. Very
message
nice.
from somebody who may or may not be Fitzy from TownieNews.com.
I don't know. I can't imagine who that might possibly have been.
That's he's promoting the big show tomorrow night that he's going to be at Shaker Farms Country Club out in Westfield, and you can Venmo Shaker Farms, and even though they don't have the code on their actual website,
please,
it's at Shaker Farms is the Venmo code. You have to search through that as a business.
That's easy.
Or you can just message me and we can make a reservation and all that stuff, and we'll take care of it from there.
That'll be a great show.
It's going to be a good night. I haven't seen him in what was the last time we actually saw him? Probably 2018, 2019, I think. Actually physically
saw him. It was definitely pre-COVID. That's for damn sure.
So it's been definitely about 5 or 6 years since we actually saw him. So it'll be good to get together and talk about old times.
And by the way, no hard feelings because he's not on the show. It's just he's done his own radio stuff, and we wish him well.
Well, people don't get it sometimes that, why can't we do this and why can't we do that? There's contractual obligations that he has with his company that doesn't allow him to come on with our company, even though our company would care. We're like, we'll take promotion wherever we can get it.
Ironically, if we were to find ourselves on his show, for the company that he works for, our company would have a big problem with it.
Absolutely.
But if he were coming on our show from another company, that's all cool.
No big deal.
No big whoop.
No. We'll steal business from wherever we can get it.
And that's the kind of hypocrisy that makes us feel at home.
But he's going to be headlining tonight, tomorrow night, and I think it's going to be a damn good time. What do you say?
Years ago, the first time we brought him into town was for a comedy show. We did it at the old Max Cap.
Yeah.
And
that was a disaster.
Actually, it wasn't.
He wasn't a disaster.
It wasn't a disaster at all. The problem is there was another comedian that may have gone on 30 to 40 minutes past the 10 minutes we had given him.
Is that the guy he brought with him?
No, that was our very dear friend.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I remember,
no, the guy he brought with him was fantastic. He was really funny.
His name is Matt McCarthy. Have you been following him on TikTok?
Yeah, he's doing good.
He does these videotapes. You ask him, you give him a number. He's got like thousands of videotapes, all of like recorded shows from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And he's got them all numbered. And if you give him a number on the TikTok video, he'll reply to the comment and go, okay, number 436, and he'll go through and he'll play the video of what he recorded that time, and when it was like Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
But he plays the commercials, the old 80s and 90s commercials in between. It's actually a pretty interesting TikTok channel that he's got.
He's really, really funny.
Yeah, he's a writer. He's mainly a writer, but he's hilarious.
But Fitzy came into town and he knocked it out of the park that night. So if you're ever wondering how he is on stand-up, very, very good.
Yeah, that was the time they both got really drunk at the Unos down at the Hall of Fame. I think they're too old to be doing that now.
I mean, he's Fitzy's now got kids and a wife and everything. So
he said he's coming out here and he's going right home. He's going to drive home after the show.
Sure. Well, I understand.
God, because I didn't have the money to pay for a hotel for him.
And you don't want him staying at your house.
And what kind of hotels are in Westfield? You got that one where the drug deals are made, and the other one where the babies are delivered. Sometimes they cross over with each other.
And you have some where the people staying there, that is their primary residence.
Yeah, well, there's weekly rates. It's like the Toll House of Westfield. I've said this before, I still laugh at the fact that motels promote the fact that they have HBO as like an amenity. Back in the 80s and 90s, wow, HBO.
That's totally worth it.
Because a lot of people couldn't afford cable television. So to stay in a place where you'd be like, hey, I get to watch HBO for a night.
Yeah.
That was like a flex. But now it's like
the only flex they have is like free Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
and that's not even that's not even a flex anymore.
No, unless you're in a desolate area where you're not getting cell phone service or you're paying for your data, which a lot of people don't even do anymore because it's all inclusive in a cell phone plan. But man, free HBO.
Yeah,
it's like, is it like shared password HBO?
like one guy's paying for it and everyone gets to enjoy it.
Yeah. Hey, listen, the cockroaches will sit there and watch the HBO with you. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Oh, that's my favorite show.
Free Hulu, but not the commercial-free version.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely the commercial version of that kind of thing. But I always find that funny when they advertise amenities just to get people in the door.
Well, there was that I forgot which one, which motel it was on Riverdale that said owned by an American owner.
Yeah.
It's like 50 other motels on that same strip. Are you telling me that not one is owned by a single American?
Well, you never know. Yeah, I know. Is there like an influx of immigrants opening up hotels over here?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, would you stay at the motel that said free HBO owned by terrorists? I mean, would you do that?
Yeah, the Al Qaeda Inn.
ISIS arms.
Yeah. This is the Jihad Motel. Welcome to the Jihad Motel. We got monkey bars out in the back you can practice your stuff with.
Is there turn down service in this room? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, very much turned down.
Yes.
Everything is turned down.
The lights, the electricity.
Yeah, make sure you're covering your face if you're a female. We don't want to see you.
It's 8:19 at Rock 102.
Quiet, please. You hear that?
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:26 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
It's Dan Brown's job to give you the forecast this time.
I want to congratulate Heather M. of Holyoke. The M stands for mystery because that's all we know her as Heather M. Anyway, she won the $5,000 with Pick Your Project Built, brought to you by Dave Miner Exterior Home Improvements. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Noonan Energy, Aqua Pump, 21st Century Pools and Spas, Linton Septic, Best Tile, A Signature Fence, Kohl's Building Supply, Integrity Heating and Cooling, and Luso Credit Union. Stay tuned for more great contests and fabulous prizes from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Well, we made it another month.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to the month of May?
This month is jam-packed.
Yeah.
With stuff. This is like the busiest month I've had in years.
The NBA and NHL playoffs will continue.
Yeah.
The Kentucky Derby is Saturday, then the Preakness on the 17th. The PGA Championship starts on the 15th. The Indy 500 is May 25th, and the French Open starts the same day. Damn, that's a lot of sports. If you're looking for movies, Thunderbolts hits theaters tomorrow.
Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know. What is Thunderbolts?
I have no idea.
Let's find out real quick. What Thunderbolt? Oh, it's like one of them. Florence Pugh is in it. Louis Pullman. Marvel Comics stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's another Marvel movie.
Don't need that.
So does the Alec Baldwin Western Rust, more than 3 years after the tragic on-set shooting. Oh, man, I can't wait to watch that.
I'm going to ask a question. I know you're going to say no,
Yeah.
but have you seen even a moment of the Alec Baldwin reality show?
No, I have no interest in watching that.
Watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, as horrible of a situation as that was,
Yeah.
I feel really, really bad for Alec Baldwin.
Why?
Because he clearly didn't mean to do this. It was clearly an accident. He clearly has, he's actually suffered not as much as the poor woman who got shot, but he's been dealing with the ramifications of this for quite a while. To actually a very sad story.
Well, he's a good man. He's a straight shooter.
He was that day.
And, of course, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning lands on May 23rd. I'm really looking forward to that.
Really?
I've always loved those Mission Impossible movies, and not just because Tom Cruise is a snack. but there was something about that last film, the part one of that, because this is like the second part of the movie.
Sure.
It was pretty damn good.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I really like that. So I can't wait for that guy. There's a new live-action Lilo and Stitch on its way, too. What else is going on? The big holidays, Cinco de Mayo.
That's coming up.
Mother's Day is on May 11th and Memorial Day on the 26th. I love that Mother's Day. I don't have to do anything anymore.
Yeah, man, you got out of that so lucky.
You know what? You always got to look at the bright side of things.
It's true.
Hey,
you do.
at least you don't have to buy my mom's dead, my wife is dead. I don't have to buy Mother's Day presents for anybody.
Man.
That's just another day for me.
Did you make out?
Oh, listen. The bennies keep rolling in, my friend. Rolling in.
We have news coming up next on Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass.
8:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Aquapump, an expert on all water supply systems from the well to the pump and into the house. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A Dominican national was arrested and charged on Tuesday in connection with hundreds of counterfeit pills containing fentanyl and multiple overdose victims, including a 2-year-old child.
Jesus.
The charging document stated that 41-year-old Jose Radam Sanchez of Haverhill and Methuen sold approximately 600 fentanyl pills in April of 2025. On April 9th, Sanchez allegedly distributed approximately 200 suspected fentanyl pills pressed to resemble 30-milligram oxycodone pills in Lawrence. During the transaction, Sanchez reportedly had a child with him in the car. Well, it's take your daughter to work day.
Yeah, but there are certain jobs that are probably best to leave the kids home.
On April 17th, Sanchez allegedly distributed approximately 400 counterfeit oxycodone pills containing fentanyl at a restaurant in Methuen and throughout other parts of the state. Further investigation into Sanchez revealed that multiple suspected overdose victims had been found at his Haverhill residence in 2024. In 2024, February, law enforcement came to Sanchez's home and found a woman who had overdosed. At the time, he told officers that he had found the victim on the side of the road in his neighborhood. Oh, this is where I keep all my found overdose victims, right here in my breezeway. And he denied knowing that the female was a drug user. However, recent phone records reveal that Sanchez contacted the woman 171 times in less than a week in March 2025. I don't know her. Then why'd you call her 171 times? I don't know.
Butt dial?
Must have been the butt dial. So there you go.
Good Lord.
Let's see. Over in Westfield, you got the Westfield Police is asking for the public's help in identifying two suspects believed to be connected to a hit and run. Police said that on Monday, a hit and run occurred in the Bone Deep Throat parking lot between 2:40 p.m. and 3 p.m. Surveillance video captured the vehicle involved in the incident, as well as the two men that are believed to have been operating the vehicle. Anyone with information regarding the incident is urged to contact the Westfield Police. But you can just call them directly. I'm not going to give out the number.
Well, why should people have to look it up?
413-562-5411 or by emailing patrick.lustig at cityofwestfield.
Hold on. 413
562
562
5411.
5411.
Yeah. Or you can email Patrick Lustig at cityofwestfield.org.
Okay, I'll be sure to do both
Yes.
if I have information to share.
I don't know if you do. You weren't there.
At the moment, I have nothing to share, but in the future,
you wouldn't be caught dead at a bone deep throat. If anywhere, you're going to be. And by the way, this behavior would not happen in a Rocky's Ace hardware parking lot.
Of course not. Good
There's
people,
no
rock solid service at every Rocky's
Yeah,
Ace
there's
hardware.
even the customers. There's no hit and run scofflaws at a Rocky's Ace parking lot.
Not if you know what's good for you.
That's right. The Springfield Public Schools Committee held a hearing on the upcoming year's operating budget on Wednesday. The meeting comes as enrollment is down across the entire district. Educators and teachers are looking to see higher compensation and additional sick time reflected in this budget. Springfield Public Schools proposed a budget of around $670 million, a 7% increase from last year's. Educators and teachers gathered at Putnam Vocational to voice their concerns for the upcoming budget. Salaries are expected to increase by $14.3 million or 5.4%. That includes cost of living adjustments and collective bargaining agreements. The public schools autism specialist Christy Turcott told 22 News, "We need more than a small pay increase that barely covers the cost of living. We are simply going to continue to grow the incredible teacher shortage we already have in this district. We have so many teachers, a record run in classrooms, and most of them are pouring their guts into students. I know." Well, that's kind of weird.
Well, that's metaphorically speaking.
I know that we are thankful for them and for stepping up, but they need our help. Others hope to see their sick days go from 10 to 15 days, similar what it was in 2013. Every teacher gets only 10 days?
Yeah.
That's weird. Or is that just part of the agreement that they made with their union?
It's part of the agreement that they make in their collective bargaining. But you got to understand, every teacher is exposed to every sick kid in the district, and not every kid who's sick
That's what I'm getting
stays home, and so they're exposed to nearly everything.
I know there was something going around my kid's school not too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah,
and then he had a lot of had to have a lot of substitutes because they were genuinely sick. It wasn't like they were calling in going, "I just don't feel like coming to work today."
When you got like a school that's got like a lot of kids, and say like there's a strep outbreak, which happens nearly every year. You got a bunch of kids getting strep. Well, who gets exposed to that right away? It's the teachers, and so a lot of these teachers, get strep or something else. They got to take the time, and all of a sudden the school's got to scramble for a substitute. Now they may have substitutes, but when they talk about teacher shortages, it's significant. And there's a lot of teachers that just can't fill. There's too many positions and not enough teachers to go around. It's such a tough job.
Well, it's also a budget issue too. A lot of these school districts don't have the money to put into new employees. So there's, I think it's a systemic thing. I don't think it's just one particular reason.
Oh, no. There are many. It's a very complicated situation, but there are many people that, they leave teaching after a certain period of time, and then they're just not replaced.
Speaking of budgets, plans to replace the aging Roderick Ireland Courthouse are gaining momentum as state officials shared updates on the multi-million-dollar project Wednesday.
So soon?
Well, we read the proposal, so now we got to decide what to do now.
Now we got to go to committee to have other people read the proposal, and then we will discuss the proposal.
This follows a critical vote made in January that gave the green light to pursue a public-private partnership and get this courthouse built as quickly as possible. I hope it's as quick as the Rock 102 building that is being built in our parking lot right now that we were promised.
Actually, I believe we're just pricing out shovels.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Do we need like an emotional support shovel? Is that what we're trying to do?
We are going to need that. We're going to need some plans. We're going to need some yardsticks.
I just feel bad for that boss of ours who got up at the Christmas party. He's like, "Listen, I wanted to make sure that I was able to say this, to all of you because they're going to have my head if I don't follow through with it. But we will definitely be breaking ground in the spring for the new Rock 102 building."
The only thing we've broken so far is we've broken wind. And that's about as much as we've gotten so far.
And promises. Broken wind and promises.
And we're this close to our will to live.
I was really expecting weeks ago to see some sort of activity over there in the corner of the parking lot.
Well, there is a cone
Yeah.
that's been placed in the backyard.
I think that was the landscaper left that here.
Oh, my mistake.
Yeah. When he was using the leaf blower, he accidentally blew it to the corner of the parking lot and then forgot about it.
Here I was thinking that was progress.
Yeah. Well, listen, you never know. What if we go out there with some spoons and start digging some dirt? Would that institute the groundbreaking of the brand new building?
No. First of all, you need dig safe out here. Make sure you're not going to, you unearth any power lines.
Listen, at this point, I'd be happy with 2 more office trailers.
We've already turned this building into a human habit trail. It's like the way they put attachments on so your hamsters can go and have fun.
Yeah, but how hard is it to? I mean, you could do these modular buildings now. You don't even need to. You could put like 3 office trailers together and make one big space.
Well, I think we're at the point now where if we all got together and gave this building one good push, we'd knock it down.
We would huff and we would puff and we would blow this house down.
It would not be that hard.
No.
There'd be less huffing and puffing.
Well, I mean, nobody can huff and puff because of all the contaminants that are in our lungs from breathing here for the last 20 years. Shall I bring up Pooh Falls again?
No, you don't need to bring up.
Are you sure?
You don't need to bring up that.
Well,
Let's just say that in 1995, when I drove up this parking lot for the very first time, and I looked at the building, and my first thing in my head was like, is the radio station behind that?
Man, what a...
Do I have to go behind this building to get to the actual radio station?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to find another story to do here. This guy drawing a swastika. This student's concerned after an alleged party invite shared on social media says no Jews allowed.
Oh my God!
I gotta tell you,
are we doing this really?
Well, I guess we are, but you know what? You welcome everybody because they bring the best food.
The Jewish people?
Yeah, I'm telling you. You get a nice gefilte fish, or a nice rye.
The rye, the bread is
roast
good.
Beef sandwich.
The bread, yeah. You're right. You're not wrong.
This is the problem with anti-Semitism.
I think
people aren't looking through other people saying, forget the stereotypes, embrace the things that people offer to the table.
This is why I do not consume myself with hatred or with prejudice. If you make good food, come on over.
Mm-hmm.
I'll welcome you with open arms.
Food brings everybody together.
You know what? It really does.
And you can see through your hatred and realize that we're all the same people, but we all have different things to offer,
Now, if you're going to bring something that's gross, well, and that's then we may have a little discussion. But no, I'm willing to embrace all the peoples of the earth.
Listen, I used to make Polish jokes all the time until I finally had a good piece of kielbasa and a pierogi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Walls came tumbling down.
That's it. That's how it begins, Steve. That's how world peace starts.
With food. I'm telling you.
With delicious snacks.
Yeah. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy with a high of 71. Tomorrow, rainy with a high of 77. It is 49 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
As men get older, our bodies...
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:49, and Stone Temple Pilots are Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
You know, I've never heard of this band up until recently, this Trailer Trash. Have you ever heard of these folks?
They almost never get out into the public.
Yeah, well, apparently they're at the big time now, doing a big Ride to Remember event this weekend.
Great event coming up at Vanish Valley Brewing in the studio to talk about it. For the Ride to Remember, it's John Delaney. Great to see you.
Good morning, guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Now, where'd you find these Trailer Trash guys?
We're trying to give them some exposure.
Oh, yeah.
That's very kind of you, because they could really use the help.
Develop a base
young
for
guys
them.
just starting out. Yeah. But this is obviously the Ride to Remember is something that happens every single September. And how long have you been doing that?
I remember coming here the first year we did it. It was 14 years ago. And here we are. We figured it'd be one and done, and we would do it for honoring Kevin Ambrose and Jose Torres, 2 officers in Western Massachusetts that got killed in the line of duty. And here we are 14 years later, and we represent all fallen officers in Massachusetts, Connecticut, firefighters, corrections officers, and this Ride to Remember has donated amazing amount of money to local charities.
And along with running an event like that comes with some costs. So you have some other fundraisers in the meantime to do this, and this is one of these things.
So when you sign up for the Ride to Remember, it's fairly cheap. It's not like the Pan Mass Challenge where you pay $5,000 to do it. It's like $75 to do our ride. So we rely on fundraisers during the year because you have to hydrate 500 riders, feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have to pay for buses, rest stops, things of that nature.
Right.
So this event that we have on Sunday at Vanish Valley Brewery, this is what more or less takes care of those costs, so the riders don't have to pay that.
Now, it is an event that's got everything. It's got the trailer trash. It's got food. It's got places and things to drink. But also you got the pig roast.
We got a pig roast.
Now, I hesitate.
Go ahead.
I hesitate to assign any connection between a police fundraiser and a pig roast. I mean, that would be insensitive of me, and you know me. I'm not the kind of guy that would ever do that. Have you found anybody else drawing those same parallels?
Everybody does.
Really?
Which is fine. We've been called worse than that. It's okay.
Now, who's is Vanish Valley doing the pigs?
Yeah, Vanish Valley does the pig roast.
Mike does a good job up there.
Rodriguez is an amazing human being. He donates the place. And I know there's a prediction of rain this Sunday, maybe a chance of showers, but they got this huge circus-like tent in the back there. Plenty of other tents. You can't do lawn work that day or golf, so come out and be part of this fundraiser.
Let me just say, and I will say this with 100% authority. A guy like Mike Rodriguez, and with my own cultural background, when the Portuguese get involved in cooking pork, they do it seriously and always phenomenal. So it's not just going to be a pig roast. It's going to be a succulent and delicious,
a tasty pig.
Oh,
tasty
my
pig. Yes.
Not one of these sweatshop pig roasts you find somewhere else.
Yeah.
This will be done perfectly.
The process that he does, it's amazing just to watch. It's worth just coming over here, watch him do the pig roast, and it's more than one pig too. So
it would have to be.
Yes, for sure.
So last year at this event, you said you had about 400 people, and even in rainy conditions, there were still a lot of people that participated.
A lot of people had a great time. We raised a good amount of money, and again, this is an important thing. So at this event, we're going to be donating $10,000 to this charity in Massachusetts. It's called Cops for Kids with Cancer, and it's a nonprofit organization that when young family with young kids have cancer, they give them money to put them up in places near Dana-Farber. They make sure that they don't worry about any costs out of pocket. So while they're taking care of their kids that have cancer in these hospitals, and we're donating this check in the honor of Mayor Dominic Sarno, who has come out already that he's battling cancer himself. So the check is going to be donated that day to this fine organization. And again, we hope everybody comes out. If you're a fan of Mayor Dominic, then come on out that day. We're selling T-shirts that say Team Sarno on it, so you can support him in his battle.
Now, I'm going to try to do the ride again this year. I couldn't do it last year. I had some knee issues and whatnot. But and again, I always appreciate you having me down there to kick off that event, because it is something to see when you see that sea of blue heading up the street there and from downtown Springfield. However, the good thing was, even though I wasn't in the ride, I was the only one out of all the news stations to get the best video shot of the kickoff as that sea of blue takes off. I think I deserve a little bit of praise for
it. It was great. We put it on our website, and those type of things that you see, you got to see it in person, right? I mean, it's just something unbelievable. Everybody's wearing the same jersey. We go up that hill.
Yeah.
And all you see is a sea of blue. 500 riders going through Western Massachusetts into Connecticut. We're going to Hartford. Trooper Pelletier died last year, so we're dedicating the ride to him in Connecticut, and we come back. It's a 70-mile flat course, so if you're a weekend warrior and you're not that really good at riding, you can do this, obviously.
You know, you say everybody's wearing the same jersey, but I'm sure if you zoomed in close enough, you'd find that one guy who was late and couldn't find his shirt, and he shows up with a white or yellow shirt.
There are renegades for sure.
Yeah. There's always somebody in there.
And it spoils the picture for sure when you look at it. You got this guy.
Oh, come on. Why did you do that? Well,
but as far as this fundraiser for Sunday goes, if someone wanted to get involved or to buy tickets, what do they need to do?
Come to the event. You can buy them at the door, or you can go to eventbrite.com to buy it in advance, which is huge for us. Then we'll know how many pigs that we have to roast. So we're hoping we get 400, 500 people that want to donate money to this cause of the ride to remember, because we donate to a lot of charities locally, and to come out and honor Mayor Sarno.
All right. Awesome.
100%. Hope you guys come out for sure.
Great event. Again, it's this Sunday, 1 to 5, Vanish Valley Brewing, 782 Center Street in Ludlow. Great to see you, John.
Great, guys.
Thanks John Delaney.
All right.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 9:12, and Journey with Bax and Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
We're prepping for the next segment. Cloudy today with a high of 71. It is 56 in downtown Springfield.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life, the backs of life. We're not always kings and queens.
It's growing on me.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's like, Tom, free falling. I mean, how many times do we hear free falling? 800 times a day. Eventually it grows on you and you know the lyrics.
Yeah, I don't. That part is not grown on me.
Are you sure?
The 5 facts you're going to give me, that's grown.
Are you ready for some fun facts?
Number 1.
Well, wait a second. Let me pull them back. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I think I lost the tab. Okay. Number 1. Factories in China produce roughly 80% of all toys and 90% of Christmas goods sold in America.
Really?
Which explains why Santa doesn't live at the North Pole anymore. He relocated to Beijing and now works in logistics. And the elves, rebranded as middle managers without the burnout. Number 2. Johnny Cash's birth name wasn't Johnny. He didn't have any first name. His parents just gave him the initials JR because they couldn't think of a name.
Interesting.
That's not indecisive parenting. That's just Southern efficiency. We'll name him later and see if he lives through the winter. Spoiler alert, he did, and he became the only man badass enough to name himself.
How about that?
Yeah.
Number 3.
Saved by the Bell, the new class had a longer run and more episodes than the original. Which proves 2 things. America has no taste, and TV execs in the 90s would greenlight anything as long as it involved lockers and denim jackets. I had a denim jacket in the 80s.
Did you really?
Yeah, I think I still have it in my closet.
Really?
I mean, I'm no Zach, but...
Did you ever take off your denim pants and jacket?
Oh, I have. Yes, I have. Once in a hotel room with a guy where we were watching a basketball game. It was called Netflix and Spill.
And Phil.
Number 4. Midnight Train to Georgia was originally Midnight Plane to Houston, inspired by a conversation with Farrah Fawcett. That doesn't hit the same, though. A train to Georgia sounds soulful and romantic, while a plane to Houston sounds like a layover you didn't book on purpose. No one cries on a midnight plane to Houston. They file a customer service complaint.
You're right about that.
Number 5. Several animals are immune to snake and scorpion venom, including pigs, hedgehogs, and skunks.
No kidding.
Basically, Mother Nature said, let's make some beefy, spiky, stinky tanks and give them God mode. Meanwhile, when I sneeze near pollen and lose a full day to Benadryl. And that's your fun facts for your Thursday.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The Bax of life.
The Bax of
The
life.
Bax of life. We're
Bax and
not
Nagle on Rock
always
102.
kings and
Springfield